This is a big fire. Okay. Coming to you.
Hey guys, my name is Roberto Waco Cruz, and today we're going to be looking at some of the curfew and lockdown measures that are going on in Quebec and some of the craziness that's been going on in the last week. But before we begin, if you like what we do here at the Post Millennial, check out the link below and consider becoming a monthly subscriber. It would really help us out, and it goes a long way for the channel and supports all the work we do here. So, as I've already mentioned, Quebec has been under curfew for a really long time. All 8 million of its residents have been under some sort of restriction for months, with this more recent curfew phenomenon going on since January. It started right after the new year. And this has led to a ton of different health parameters, changing restrictions, different curfews, and fines. Lots and lots of fines for just about everything that you could imagine. There's been story after story about people being fined for sitting in the park with their friends, drinking a beer, partying, having people over at their homes, or just being homeless. If you're homeless, that could lead to a fine, as we found out just after the curfew was implemented, when an Indigenous man was found dead in a porta potty because one of the homeless shelters was closed for the evening. When Quebec Premier François Legault was asked about the incident and whether homeless people should be exempt from being fined, he said that that wouldn't happen, that he trusted the police's ability, and that it could lead to people who weren't homeless pretending to be homeless so that they didn't get fined. It came out later that that homeless man was probably hiding in that porta potty so that he didn't get fined from police. So, I mean, not a good look, but because it was in Quebec, the rest of the Canadian media didn't really pick up on it that much anyway. Of course, all the restrictions in Quebec come from the provincial power. The Coalition Avenir Quebec, or just the CAQ, led by François Legault, which is kind of this weird fusion party that's conservative, but a bit socially liberal, but they're very pro-Quebec, and they're not separatists, but they don't really care about what the provinces think of them as well. These curfew measures were extremely controversial, as there's actually not much scientific evidence to back up curfews as an effective means at stopping coronavirus at all. And these curfews still continue to this day, a full 3 months later. Although there was a period, in Montreal at least, where the curfews were pushed back to 9:30. On March 15th, François Legault that the curfew would be pushed back because of low cases in the provinces. And this lasted not even a month. On April 12th, it turned out Legault said that the third wave had come to Quebec and that curfew would return to 8 p.m. I live in Montreal, and this was one of the most disappointing things that has ever happened to me in my life. This news obviously upset a lot of people in Montreal, as the same day that curfew got pushed back to 8 p.m., thousands of people met in the Old Port at curfew time to protest the changes. And this eventually led to what could be basically described as riots. Some really crazy video came out from those riots with a lot of destruction of private property and a lot of destruction of small business fronts, a lot of broken glass. And this was a huge kick to the Montreal population, as small businesses have already struggled big time. Montreal has dealt with day-to-day changes on who can be open until what time for a long time now. Most restaurants have been dependent mostly on delivery, as have a lot of restaurants across Canada. A second day of rioting took place on the Monday after curfews, though police seemed to have most of the situation under control as they got out ahead of the rioting. Although this didn't stop several videos coming out of people shooting fireworks at other people or trash cans being set on fire in the middle of downtown Montreal. Insanity. And how did François Legault react to all the rioting? Well, he held a press conference on the Tuesday after the riots and basically didn't acknowledge them too much. He said that curfew was going to remain in place in Montreal at 8 p.m. and actually more regions around Quebec would be joining in the 8 p.m. curfew that had previously been pushed back to 9:30. So not a lot has changed in the province, and there's not really any signs that it's going to. In fact, recent polls by the Montreal Gazette found that 69% of Quebecers support keeping the curfew up for the next few weeks, and that it will be several weeks before Quebec expands its vaccinations from the current ages it's currently set. And it's not like police aren't really enforcing this either. In fact, last week, Montreal police handed out a record 538 curfew tickets, which tend to be around $1,000 to $2,000. So if you thought that Quebec wasn't getting rich off this, then you would be wrong. They're making a lot of money. Criticism of the policies has been wide-ranging and has been from weird kind of indie outlets like Cult Montreal all the way to the Montreal Gazette, releasing an opinion article called "Why Are You Punishing Us for Your Mistakes, Mr. Legault?" As there have been several notable missteps along the way by the provincial government, as with most governments in Canada. And this has gotten to a point of absurdity that I didn't see coming. When they initially announced a curfew, I thought, okay, this is the dead of the winter. It gets dark out at 5 p.m. I probably won't want to go outside anyway. But it's starting to get nice out. It's starting to get dark at 8:30, and the curfew is having us in before the sun even goes down. And it's getting a little absurd. I mean, if I'm outside, I'm actively stopping the spread of coronavirus. I think there's been how many studies at this point that show that vitamin D is hugely effective in stopping the severity and the spread of coronavirus. And there's not really even that much evidence to support that sitting outside can cause the spread that well. Instead, what you have is people going in at 8 o'clock, having to stay over at their friends until 5 a.m. when the curfew ends, and then getting everyone sick. Can you see why these policies just lead to more evasive action and how it could actually lead to more sickness? I can, because I don't know anyone that's actually listened to these policies. They're all more suggestions, and if you're smart enough, which you don't have to be that smart, you can get around them. There's no evidence that these work. There isn't. I tried finding some. Even the CBC. The CBC is saying that curfews don't work. So why are we doing it? I was trying to play baseball at the park. And I caught a video, actually. This is my video. I asked the guy for it. And he sent it to me. And look how many police officers are here breaking up the softball game to make sure we're all 2 meters apart. Obviously, we're more than 2 meters apart. It's a baseball game. Everyone's standing 90 feet away from each other. The diamond's huge. But the police insisted that we wear masks so that we continue the game. I counted about 8 or 9 officers. Luckily, no one got fined, but they did pour out our beers. Fair enough. I guess we're supposed to bring a snack. Either way, with no end in sight and with, I'm sure, another lawsuit coming from the Jewish community, who knows how this is going to end up, but I can tell you I have not spoken to one person who genuinely believes that this is working, and I can't see how it can go on for much longer without more civil unrest. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you think. You can go down to the links below and check out our premium content. I have a podcast called This Week in Canada, hosted by my good friend Nico Johnson. Make sure you check that out. We have other podcasts on the show, one called Cancel This. We did a great interview with Jordan Peterson. If you support us, give us a subscription, give us a thumbs up, go to our store and check out our products. We have nice mugs, we have nice t-shirts, we have beanies, we have toques, we have a whole bunch of stuff coming, so make sure you keep an eye on it. Also, make sure you go like our Facebook page. It's hugely important, and we've gotten a lot of support recently, way more than I actually saw coming. So thank you guys so much, and keep it coming. Again, my name is Roberto Waco Cruz. Thank you for watching, and vive le Quebec libre.